The word poltergeist immediately brings chaos to mind. Flying chairs, slamming doors, and violent knocks from an empty room. For most of us, these stories get filed away pretty quickly, as folklore, as hoaxes, or, at best, as an unexplained mystery we're happy to leave unexplained. But what happens when one of the most rational people of the 20th century, a man who built his entire career on logic, takes these stories seriously? I'm talking about Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology. He didn't just dismiss these events, nor did he debunk them. He actually studied them. He attended seances. He documented unexplained events in his own home. The question is, why? What did this man of pure reason see in this chaos? Was he a secret believer? A master skeptic? Or did he find something else entirely? This is the story of Jung's strange, lifelong encounter with the irrational. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Carl Jung was not some crystal-gazing guru. This was the guy who, alongside his mentor Freud, was building the very architecture of modern psychology. He was a scientist, an empiricist, and yet he spent an awful lot of time at seances. Seriously. His actual doctoral dissertation, the paper that launched his career, was a detailed case study of his own cousin, Helene Preisvark, a young woman who claimed to be a medium. Jung, the skeptic, would sit in these dark, stuffy rooms, not as a believer, but as a scientist, taking meticulous notes as things happened. Most of his colleagues would have written it off as a hoax and wanted nothing to do with it. But Jung was different. He was fascinated. He wasn't asking if the spirit was real. He was asking a much stranger question. What is actually happening here? He was a scientist, after all. A scientist who wasn't afraid to get weird. This getting weird wasn't just academic, it was deeply personal. His own home was active. In his autobiography, he describes events that sound like a poltergeist's opening act. A solid 70-pound walnut table, a family heirloom suddenly split clean in half with the sound of a pistol shot. Days later, a steel bread knife secure in a kitchen drawer shattered, untouched, into 4 perfect pieces. Bizarre, isolated events? Perhaps. But then, this strange energy, for lack of a better word, followed him to the very heart of rational science, the home of his mentor, Sigmund Freud. As Jung passionately argued for his new, more mystical ideas, Freud, predictably, dismissed it all as nonsense. Jung got heated. He felt, as he put it, a glowing heat in his diaphragm. Suddenly, a loud bang, like a gunshot, came from Freud's prized oak bookcase. Both men jumped. Jung seized the moment, claiming it as proof of his point. Freud just stared, likely thinking his best student had lost his mind. Jung, doubling down, then predicted it would happen again. After a tense silence, a second, identical bang echoed from the case. The event famously fractured their friendship, but for Jung, it was confirmation. Something powerful was at play, an energy that wasn't spirit and wasn't fraud, but was somehow human. Jung's hypothesis turns the whole ghost story inside out. He shifts our gaze from the dead to the living, specifically to the turbulent, repressed inner world of individuals, often adolescents, who are frequently at the center of these storms. He called this repressed part the shadow. It's the who we pretend we are not. Our rage, our shame, our jealousy, our primal drives. We push this part of ourselves down into the dark, hoping it stays quiet. But the shadow, Jung warned, is not a storage box. It's a pressure cooker. And in certain people, under certain stress, that psychic pressure doesn't just cause a bad mood or a slip of the tongue. It manifests outwardly. This, for Jung, is the poltergeist, not a spirit, but the potent, dissociated, screaming psyche of a living person. It's not a who that haunts the house, it's a what. It is a psychological complex that has gained enough autonomous energy to physically move the furniture. It's the most extreme form of passive aggression. Oh, I'm not angry. The house, on the other hand, is furious. But this leads to the impossible question, how? How does a thought split a solid oak table? This violates the fundamental laws of cause and effect, and Jung, as a scientist, knew it. He agonized over this. He had data he couldn't ignore, but no rational framework for it. He needed a bridge, and he found one in the most unlikely of places, quantum physics. Jung began a long, brilliant correspondence with the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, Wolfgang Pauli. Pauli was also struggling with the impossible, seeing how the neat, tidy world of A causes B completely dissolves at the quantum level. Together, they hypothesized that maybe psyche and matter weren't two different things, but two different aspects of one underlying reality. This is what Jung, now bolstered by Pauli, finally, bravely, called synchronicity. He defined it as a causal connecting principle. It's not causality, it's a different logic, a meaningful connection. It's the universe rhyming, a moment where the inner world and the outer worlds reveal they are two sides of the same coin. A poltergeist, in this view, is just a synchronicity on steroids, a violent, chaotic glitch in the matrix. The intense inner state doesn't cause the book to fly. The inner state and the flying book happen together as one single meaningful event. It suggests the universe is not just a machine, it's also a story. And sometimes the metaphors get literal. So, are poltergeists real? Jung's work would suggest they are, profoundly real. But perhaps not as visitors from another world, so much as echoes from the unseen corners of our own. They are the violent poetry of the repressed, the fractures in the wall between the mind and the world. Jung's great gift wasn't just to analyze the phenomenon, but to be receptive to its message. He showed us that the irrational isn't just noise to be dismissed, or a monster to be feared. It's a language, spoken in the grammar of the impossible. These glitches, these moments of synchronicity, these chaotic hauntings, they are the psyche's way of demanding to be heard, of rattling the windows when the doors have been locked. Perhaps the final question isn't whether a house is haunted. It's what happens when the psyche itself becomes a haunted place, and the walls are no longer thick enough to hold it in.